All right, welcome back. This is about my third recording session for the channel. So it's been a couple months since I last was talking a bunch for your listening ears and shit. But I would, before we get into the topic today, which I'm sure you're all familiar with by now, um, I kind of want to know what you guys want to know from me because I'm only guessing what you guys want to hear me talk about for I don't know however long these videos end up being. So if you have a question or any topic in specific you want me to cover, leave a comment. I'll do my best if it interests me enough. Um, but the topic today, I feel like everyone in this community knows about it. It was a big deal the day of, like much bigger of a deal than I was anticipating. Um, but yeah, I suppose for those of you who don't know, I got hacked. Um, Sometime in April. It's currently like late May. But I got hacked pretty bad. It was um, one of those Bitcoin streaming ones where they take over the channel and start streaming there. They change your branding, your account, and hide all your videos. Luckily for me, they didn't delete them. They just unlisted them. And I mean, it was still an annoying process to recover all of them, but um, I think something that everyone was in agreement with was that I got my channel back very fast. Um, but I mean, it still took a bit to get everything fully recovered. More behind the scenes. But um, so I mean, in the video that I made that I did make on the main channel, pardon me, I mostly covered the preventative measures that people could take, but I don't think I really talked about how like my emotions that day. I might have touched on it a little bit, but I think I cut quite a bit of it out because I didn't want to be too vulnerable since I knew I would have a lot of eyes on it. But to give you the quick rundown, from what I can remember was included in that video was the way that I got hacked was by a PDF scam. So pretty much there are these scammers who will look for a YouTube channel that has a large number of subscribers, and apparently 26K, and I didn't think that was too large. That's large enough for them. So they saw my channel, and I had my business email attached to my channel in the About section. So they went ahead and emailed me as a tech company. It was a legit tech company, and as far as I could tell, when I got that email, it seemed really legit. As much as I'd like to say that I know online scams, especially like the back of my hand, this seemed like a very legit business offer. I've heard about these from a few friends of mine now, and I've gotten to see what they look like, and this looked very professional, and nothing about this was looking sketchy at all. It was very well made, but pretty much what happened is I opened the PDF file, and that gave them some security key, like a copy of my browser, and they suddenly had access to everything that my browser was logged into. They just had a copy of my browser on their desktop, and it didn't set off any red alarms. I don't know the technical specifics of it. The same exact thing happened to Linus Tech Tips. If you Google what happened to him, then you can find more answers, because literally the same exact people hacked him were the same people who hacked me. So everything that he talks about, it very much so relates to my situation. But I won't talk about the preventative measures in this video. I'll talk more about, the emotions, getting sad and shit. It feels cringy to admit this, but when you really think about it, it's not over exaggerating. It was pretty traumatizing. Like if this was like years ago, where email wasn't that much of a big deal. It was more so just a way that you could talk to your friends through the computer, or if a lot of very private information wasn't online from your hands and shit, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But I had like my banking information on there, my health information on there. It had just so much of my private information on that one browser, and they had all of it. I mean, when I had discovered that I got hacked. I didn't know what their intentions were, so I instantly went into worst case scenario mode. I was hoping that it wouldn't be something too bad. I was kind of hoping it would just be someone who just wanted to pull a prank on me, someone who maybe just didn't like my channel or me as a person and wanted to send a little panic my way. And like I've been prepared for that, but I was hoping it would be that, but I was expecting it to be someone who wanted to sell my information. Thankfully, that was not the case, but also, unfortunately, it was not just some prankster. It was someone wanting to use my channel for their own fucked up scam benefit. So, it is what it is. At least, thankfully, they at least from what I could tell, they don't intend to do anything harmful. I've reset everything, but my God, man, I was laying in bed listening to one of AJR's live streams where I think his name is Ryan, the one with the glasses. He was breaking down one of the songs, and I thought it was really cool and interesting, and I got inspired to start making another one of my songs. So I went to the bathroom and I opened up Google Docs to start working on one of the songs that I had an idea for a while. And I noticed I was logged out, and I thought it was weird, but I was like, they were probably just like cleaning something. It was an update, and I just need to re-sign in. No biggie. I think they've done it like a few times before. I didn't think much of it, and then I noticed that I was signed out of all of my accounts. Usually, that's not the deal. Usually, it's just the main one, the one connected to my YouTube channel and all of my important project documents. So I got concerned after that. I tried logging in using the password that I had had for years at that point, and it didn't work. And I know that I hadn't changed it, so that instantly set off some red flags, and I went into instant panic mode. So thankfully, I caught this guy hacking me, all of my accounts, as soon as he did. As soon as he got access, I noticed. And I think that is probably the biggest reason that I got this whole thing fixed as fast as I did. I mean, for most, I was talking to Alan about it the day of, Alan Becker, the animator versus animation guy. I was talking to him about it, and he told me he got hacked a while ago for some similar bullshit, but he didn't get his fixed within 12 hours, not even 24 hours. I think he got his fixed in like a week at most. Like having your channel recovered like that fast is just unheard of, especially for someone whose channel is as small as mine. Comparatively, I guess supposedly it's not that small. If you put all those subscribers into a single room, then it's a lot of people. But like, you'd hear about this story from people who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, millions of subscribers, tens of millions of subscribers. And here I am with, I think, 26,000 subscribers. Like, I was pretty much anticipating for YouTube to just be like, well, can't do anything. It sucks. Bye. I was entirely expecting for them to just give up or take their sweet ass time with it. And surprisingly enough, obviously I got it back really fast. I don't need to keep repeating that. I mean, I as well as you are shocked how fast they had that whole situation resolved for me. I mean, I had little to no. If you were on the stream, you saw how anxious I was about relying on YouTube. That was my only option. I was distraught when I realized that my only option was for YouTube to help me fix this thing. Because God knows I couldn't get in contact with Google, and I know that YouTube doesn't really support smaller creators. They tend to favor all of the bigger ones. But I would like to say that it was my fan base who helped spread the word and got YouTube's attention. But even then, YouTube on Twitter, I had tagged them to Twitter, letting them know that my account and channel was compromised, and they responded within like a few minutes. Like, I didn't even have to really beg everyone to start spreading the word as much as I thought I did. I still did afterwards anyways, because I wanted to keep the pressure on them and let them know, like, I am constantly waiting for an answer, waiting for something, waiting for them to do something. So I think that might have helped. I can't be for sure, though. But, I mean, that brings, like, the craziest part to me is how many people were willing to just help. I mean, I had always theorized, had that thought experiment of what if I did get hacked, because I've seen like Corridor Digital, Linus Tech Tips, a bunch of other YouTubers get hacked like this, and so I'm there thinking like, okay, I'm pretty small. What would have happened if this happened to me? How would I tackle this? And I kind of thought, well, I do know a lot of people. Communication with people in my community, even outside of my direct community, that is one of my strong suits, and I think a lot of people know that. I know a lot of big people in the community, so I just assumed that I'd be able to convince them to try to help me. And since I am good friends with a lot of these big creators, I kind of assumed it wouldn't be that much of a big deal. But then it actually happened, so I kind of had to, test my theory and see if it worked. And it worked very well. It worked shockingly well. I mean, I don't know if people talking about it actually ended up helping me get my account back or anything. But it was, I don't know what to say. It was very wholesome to see the entire community, step in and stick out for me and talk about it. And I think one of my main goals while being hacked was to minimize the impact that these hackers would have. At a certain point in the stream, if you were there, I'm sure you would remember that my main reason for continuing to stream after a certain point, that I couldn't really do anything, was to keep people talking about it. Not so that YouTube can continue looking into it and trying to get my account back and everything, but so that the hackers would have to wait for me to be inactive so people aren't constantly checking the channel and sending reports on the channel and getting the channel terminated, because they're going to want to be as efficient as they can and get as many views and people to look at it as possible. And I mean, I feel like the evidence for that theory is the very second that I stopped streaming on Twitch. They started taking over my branding, taking over everything. They had tried to replace my profile picture. They started by just deleting the profile picture, and I think I'm like 90% sure that one of the people on the hackers team was keeping a close eye on my stream and my activity, because we noticed instantly and we called them out for it, and that was the only thing that they did until I ended that stream. So even if it didn't help me get my account back faster, all of the communication and discussion about it on the various platforms that people were talking about it on was keeping the hackers from actually taking action. Because I knew that as soon as I was done streaming, people would let their guard down. They wouldn't be constantly rechecking it to let me know. And, that is exactly what they did. And thankfully, they only got to stream on my channel for like 2 hours. That was it. That's all they got out of that. So I think like I really won in that battle, and I have you guys to thank for it. Because I mean, my goal was to allow as few people to get affected as possible. And while I can still see the stream has been removed from YouTube, and I have no longer to see the specific analytics of that stream that they did. The number in views on that day in particular, the analytics are still like in my overall like monthly data, and they pulled in a lot of viewers. So I'm thankful that it only lasted a couple hours, because imagine if that was up for several days, that they probably would have had a lot of power. So very thankful that that didn't happen. Or I mean, it did happen. It just didn't happen for as long as I was expecting it to happen for. But man, I a few days ago I was in the Hyun's Dojo voice chat on their dojo Discord, and mind you, the day that I'm recording this is May 22nd, and they were still asking me if I got everything back. And I think that really says to like how long people think it really takes to get everything back. I want to preface, I have everything back. I've had everything back now. Well, I did get 6 emails compromised. They didn't really do much with them. But that's not to say that the thing you should take away from this is that you don't need to be as prepared. Definitely be prepared. Overreact. Some channels will tell you to not overreact, but these hackers are good at hiding their intentions sometimes. So just prepare for the worst. Start changing your passwords on everything. See what you do have control over. But I mean, it's a fucking scary day, man. My God, I mean, the following like week after that too, I was obsessively checking the activity on all of my emails to see if any new devices had signed in that I need to kick, if any passwords were changed, any shit like that. I was looking for it, and I took so many safety precautions, and I would recommend that you do too. But I'm not going to talk your ear off about that. If you want someone to talk your ear off about that, just look at Linus Tech Tips or some shit. Google it. I don't fucking. I'm not going to waste any more time on that. But man, it was a very emotional day. I was in the middle of working when it all happened as well, and I remember I had to tell Alan. I messaged Alan once on Discord, telling him to message me on my phone number, and I had to give him my phone number. He didn't have it before, at least not that I'm aware of. He might have had it from document. It doesn't fucking matter. Semantics. But I told him to message me only from my phone because that's the only secure device that I had to talk off of. Because the email that they had access to was the email connected to my Discord. And if you want to hear my gripes with Discord service, you can watch the video I did on my main channel because I'm still not very happy with Discord. That's a thing. That's just a whole debacle. But I had to message Alan, telling him to message me on my phone, and I even had him kick me from the team Discord server. So nothing. If their intent at this time, I didn't know what their intentions were, so I assumed they could gain access to my Discord account and they could send malicious links. They could start hacking other people. They can gain access, private information from servers, friends, DMs, etc. So, during the stream, I was telling people to not accept any messages from me unless I either said so on stream or until I had made the announcement on Twitter that I got my account back. And, I can't surprisingly fast. And that also kind of concerns me, how fast YouTube was with it. I mean, I know I should be grateful, and I definitely am grateful, but it is very concerning how many people are falling for this scam. And just how easy it is for them to gain this much access to one's information. And I think another part of why they were so fast to react is because I pardon me, it's because it was happening a lot, and they had already pretty much been practicing this for a while. They knew the steps to take to get someone's account back. This isn't the first time that they've had to deal with that recently. So it was a little worrying on that front, but I'm not sure if there was a whole lot that Google could have done about it, and I'm not going to participate in that discussion because I'm just happy that I have it all back. But yeah, that was me getting hacked. Some of my more personal thoughts on it. Not my most fun day. Probably one of the most terrifying days that I've ever had. And I've fallen 30 feet from the air face first one day, and I'd say that getting hacked was even worse than that. So, I mean, as nerdy as it sounds, like when you have, not only all of your private information, but your life's work connected to this one email that you no longer have any access to. Shit gets real. It gets really real. You start to wonder if your life is about to fall apart. They could have just destroyed me, more than just my channel. They had a lot of access, but thankfully they do not anymore. But I think I'll end this discussion here. I know I've seen a few people get hacked on Twitter recently as well. I think there's been a hack going on there as well. So do keep an eye out on your social medias if that's something that you really value, and if you're a business owner like myself and need to make sure that you are secure and prepared for a hack, check out Linus's video. He covers it very well. And if you want to know the very specific steps that I took in order to get my channel back so fast, go check out the video that I have on my main channel called "I Got Hacked." I think that's what it's called. Yeah, I'll go ahead and end this one here. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you want me to talk about, and please remember to unsubscribe. Bye.